Cow, a Republican candidate for Senate in Virginia, criticized drag queens and implied that they are not tough enough to serve in the military, which is sad because Hung Cow is a fantastic drag name.
Saturday Night Live, it's a political front group for the Democrat Party, as any school child can tell you. And the great Hung Cow, Naval Academy grad, Army, Special Warfare, diver, amazing life story, great experiences, and perfect for the United States Senate from the Commonwealth of Virginia. And if you're in Virginia, where early voting started, I think, in 1936, and you can just vote any day. But early voting is well underway. It's been going on for weeks now because the Democrats don't believe in Election Day. They like different stuff. Also, did you see Hillary Clinton over the weekend? Talking about the need to control free speech. Got to control free speech, otherwise we lose total control, Hillary Clinton said. You lose total control? Is that all you want, is total control? And the answer to that is yes. All Hillary Clinton wants is total control. And if she doesn't have total control, then your free speech rights are going to go by the wayside because the left is coming for your rights. We have the left is coming for your rights at the Chris Plant store, as a matter of fact, on coffee mugs and things. The left is coming for your rights. It's another one of my cleverisms, one of my little sayings. It's not so little, though. It's big because the left is coming for your rights. They were doing that when they were the Soviet Union. They're still doing it, but now they're the Democratic Party because, as you know, the Democratic Party isn't democratic, that is. Isn't that amazing? And the news media trying to put the fear of God into everyone. Joe Scarborough, the fear of dog, because as we know, dog is their co-pilot. They have dog as their co-pilot, and you don't want to know what happens after hours because that's another thing altogether. But Joe Scarborough this morning on Morning Joke says that we've got all the Democrats got Hillary Clinton. They're coming for your this, and they're going to do this. And they're going to, and SEAL Team 6, they're going to use SEAL Team 6, MSNBC, Michael Cohen. Trump's going to use SEAL Team 6 to come after you. Hillary Clinton says Trump's going to call out the military to grab your neighbors just because they're illegal aliens. And, the guy who's mowing your lawn, because that's how Democrats view illegal aliens as slave labor. That's the way Democrats, the party of slavery, that's the way they view the illegal alien waves coming into the country. And they're going to go in the military, she says, when Donald Trump is president, will snatch people out of restaurants just because they're in the country illegally. That's all, and off your lawn. And then SEAL Team 6 is going to be used to round people up like Michael Cohen. They have delusions of grandeur. Now Joe Scarborough says Trump is preparing for civil war. Not to dial up the rhetoric to 100+ stupid, but, I think Joe Scarborough's pronouns are suddenly they, them, aren't they? I mean, Trump is preparing for a civil war. That's the exact language that he used because Democrats are mental. I don't want to say they're mentally ill because I think that's kind of disrespectful to people who are legitimately mentally ill. But the Democrats are definitely mental, and they're violent, and they're crazy, and they occasionally self-immolate. They occasionally set themselves on fire. Have you noticed that, Michael? They set themselves on fire a lot, don't they? Kind of crazy. Man, oh, man. And David Axelrod, he was on the TV, too, from the this and that Democrat front groups, And he says that, David Axelrod says that upscale North Carolina Kamala Harris voters will find a way to vote after the big hurricane that's caused so much pandemonium down there. But he thinks that the rural Trump voters won't be able to vote because, the Democrats, like Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted on Friday, they control the weather, right? They control the weather. And Saturday Night Live made a joke about the Jews controlling the weather just the night before last because the Democrats are they're unwell. They're, man, oh man, I am telling you. Yeah, so the Democrat rhetoric just gets more and more crazy. And now Joe Scarborough on MSNBC talking about civil war because that's what is left. And keep in mind that the Democrat Party is the party of the first Civil War. They were the Confederate States of America. Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederate States, was a Democrat. That's when the whole Democrat Party Southern Project, after the Republicans beat the Democrats in the American Civil War, then a Democrat shot and murdered Abraham Lincoln. He was the first Republican president ever. The next two presidents shot and killed were also Republicans. And then John F. Kennedy was killed by a communist. And that's what we've got going on there. Pretty amazing stuff. Yeah, so the Civil War is coming, according to Joe Scarborough, and it's the Republicans causing it. Now, the Democrats fired on Fort Sumter. The Democrats wanted to keep their slaves. Now the Democrats want to keep their illegal aliens to mow their lawns and clean their dishes, which is what they talk about all the time, because they're the party of the bullwhip and Robert Mapplethorpe. But that's another bullwhip story for another day. Your Democrat Party. Yeah, and Joe Scarborough, Trump is preparing for civil war. At this point, because you guys are so completely insane, the country should perhaps be thinking about this as a possibility because you guys, your mob violence in the streets, you're pro-Hamas, pro-Hezbollah, pro-Iran, pro-illegal alien, pro-drug cartels, pro-human trafficking cartels, pro-open borders, anti-free speech, anti-free practice of religion, anti-Second Amendment, and you guys are a danger to democracy. Honestly, I think that if the Democrats win this election, that we should prepare for an authoritarian rule where your children will be arrested and killed. Now, that's completely crazy, of course, isn't it? But that's what Michael Beschloss said on MSNBC, and he's an award-winning presidential historian. And I was talking to my best girl when we were walking around the grounds of Montpelier over the weekend in Virginia, and I said, when I go in Monday, I should paraphrase Michael Beschloss and say, with a straight face, but I can't do it with a straight face like these people because of their they, them pronouns and stuff. They can say things with a straight face that aren't straight at all. But Michael Beschloss, and I said I should go in and I should say, pound the table. I don't pound the table much. Pound the table and say, if the Democrats win, if Kamala Harris wins, your children will be arrested. Your children will be killed. Your children, I love the kill. And then they send a check to Planned Parenthood because they care so deeply about the children. And the, human traffickers, they like more child sex trafficking. And how many have they lost? Like 300,000 children because the Democrats, just amazing stuff. But Michael, I was joking to my best girl. It was just me and my best girl walking around the grounds at Montpelier and having a lovely time on a beautiful day. And amazing stuff. And I said, I think James Madison would go back to the radio studio on Monday, and he would say, if the Democrats win, then we're on the brink of a terrible authoritarian dictatorship, and your children face arrests, and they may be killed. And I said that, and my best girl and I were laughing, and I know James Madison was laughing.
What was at stake tonight and this week was the fact whether we will be a democracy in the future, whether our children will be arrested and conceivably killed. We're on the edge of a brutal authoritarian system, and it could be a week away.
That's what I should say every day on the lead up to Election Day, right? Because that's good journalism and good historical stuff there from Michael Beschloss, the presidential historian, who's a very, very rich boy. He was born with a silver chalice in his mouth, and the brutal authoritarian rule, and we're a week away. That was his observation on the lead up to the midterm elections, the midterms, no less, during President Trump's presidency. And now, the left is coming for your rights. These people are crazy. And they go to all the best schools, and they come out crazy and stupid. It's amazing what we're watching going on in the United States of America. And again, now Michael Beschloss, that was 2018, on the brink of a brutal authoritarian rule where your children will be arrested and your children will be killed. And at MSNBC, they sat there nodding with furrowed brows, looking concerned that the very well-educated Michael Beschloss was revealing truths to them. And then the election happens, and the mental meltdown that these people have suffered. Trump derangement syndrome is a phenomenon that I think will be studied for centuries, not just decades and generations to come, but I think centuries to come. And with these Democrats, now Joe Scarborough saying that, President Trump is preparing for a civil war, and that MSNBC, Michael Cohen, saying President Trump is going to use SEAL Team 6 to round up his political enemies. These people are mental. He was already president for 4 years, right? You know that you guys keep sending gunmen to kill him. You know that, don't you? Honestly, Abraham Lincoln, and on. Just amazing. All right, let's take a phone call, Michael. Let's go to Angela calling from Montclair, Virginia. Angela, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm just great.
Okay, so I wrote this little parody. The Jeffersons moving on up?
Sure. Well, we're moving on up. You probably don't want me to sing it, though.
So I'm getting fed up, okay?
Uh-huh.
I'm getting fed up with their lies. We've got to open up our eyes. Illegals in our cities, the Democrats are paying their bills while we watch our children die from fentanyl pills. The NGOs are in this, stabbing us in the back, providing welfare and housing while women are being attacked. I said I'm getting fed up with their lies. We've got to open up our eyes. Okay, that's it.
Come on. We've got applause going on. Yeah, there are people behind glass on my left and behind glass on my right, and Michael Piercy across from me, and everybody's clapping. And who doesn't love George Jefferson and the Jefferson song? Everybody knows it, and it's great stuff. That's pretty good. You gotta lay that down. You gotta get. Do you play the keyboard or anything?
No, my daughters do that. They play it. All right, Chris.
That is great. Great to hear your voice. I haven't heard your voice in quite a while.
Yeah, if you have time for one more, I made up one more from Married with Children, real quick. Trump or Harris, Trump or Harris. If she wins, our country might just perish. So vote, take your brothers, sisters, and mothers. We must have Trump and not the other. Trump, not Harris. Trump, not Harris. Because our country is what we cherish. Since our country is so dear, please go and vote and volunteer. Trump, not Harris. That's it.
Unbelievable. That is, come on, that is, we're going to need to get a band out here. We're sending a satellite truck with a band in the back and a big dish on the roof to record that. Angela, that is great stuff. Great stuff.
Well, I did it over the weekend. I think Lieutenant Governor Sears was there, so we had a little fun with it. So I thought I would sing it for you.
No kidding. Winsome Sears was there, and did you sing him to her?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, that is great. That is wonderful. Angela, that's great stuff. Thank you. Thank you very much. We've got more apocalyptic doom from the Democrats coming up because they're the party of crazy. There's no doubt about it. How many people, honestly, they show up and shot Steve Scalise. They showed up and shot Trump. They They show up and stop shooting people, Democrats. Let's start with that. And now Joe Scarborough is talking Civil War, stoking the flames. He might self-immolate, too, Joe Scarborough. I hope that he does it live on TV, if he's going to self-immolate, because we haven't had any almost live outside the Trump trial in New York, though. Thanks, Angela. You know that the best-selling Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier uses Oxy technology that helps to quickly destroy a whole lot of different viruses and odors and mold spores and a lot more floating around in the air. Thousands of 5-star reviews on Al Gore's amazing internet. Works like a champ. Any smell will vanish in just a few seconds with the thunderstorm being on. Smells from garbage cans, trash cans, cigarette smoke, your mother-in-law's cooking, even left-wing protesters are no match for the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. The powerful thunderstorm sends out O3 molecules that seek out and help destroy odors. These molecules even go behind and underneath furniture. Nothing can hide from the thunderstorm. And you don't have to schedule and buy and replace filters over and over again because the magic thunderstorm, you can hold it right in your hand. It's only this big. And you don't have to replace filters because they don't have those replaceable filters in there. And right now, you can save $200 American on an Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection. 3 units for under $200. Put one in your basement and your teenager's room. Any place you like to breathe clean, fresh air. All you have to do is go to EdenPureDeals.com and use the discount code CHRIS3, CHRIS, and the number 3 to save $200. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is CHRIS3. Yes, it is. All right. We got a lot. Yeah, the Democrat apocalypse is coming. And I've got the audio for you coming up. Rebel, your left arm's a mess. How many Democrats have self-immolated in the United States? I'm adding it up. I'm doing the math here. But right now, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Matthew calling from Johns Island, South Carolina. Matthew, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Good morning, Chris. I was hoping I didn't have to follow the musical act, kind of like following the Beatles on Ed Sullivan.
Yeah, great stuff. All original lyrics. That's great.
That was good. That was good. I had to admit, I was cracking up during the songs. But
that's great.
Now, I glean my news online, print, television, cable. I have not heard really anything or seen a concerted effort by anybody in Congress talking about how we're going to facilitate the hundreds of thousands of people who are now in Florida facing their second hurricane.
You're right about that. Another giant hurricane bearing down on us. Now, the Democrat Party is the party of the Confederate States of America and the first American Civil War, firing on Fort Sumter, want to keep their plantations. You know how the Democrats are. Now they've replaced with their illegal aliens, and they like that. And of course, the school-to-prison pipeline that the Democrats have created in the United States, mostly in their big cities that they've controlled forever and ever, right? But the crazy people, keep in mind that they're the party that created Nathan Bedford Forrest, a big statewide leader of the Democrat Party, created the White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. That's America's oldest terrorist organization. But the Democrat Party is also the party of terrorist organizations like from the Symbionese Liberation Army to the Students for a Democratic Society to the Weathermen, which became the Weather Underground because Weathermen became sexist and they wanted to have terrorists, women in there too. And who doesn't, And they're the party of terrorist organizations. They're now Antifa is a communist terrorist organization founded in Germany in the 1930s, and now it's a part of the Democrat Party in the United States of America. The Democrat Party is the party that, robs armored cars and banks to fund the revolution, and party of Bernie Sanders, who honeymooned in the Soviet Union, and Tim Walz, who honeymooned in communist China, because they love communism. And those are the number one terrorists in the history of the world, the communists, of course. Nobody's murdered more people than them. Am I right? That's a fact. Yes, it is. All right. So let's see. Let's go to soundbite number 8. Soundbite number 8. Because what are they doing now? These crazy people. Well, Nicole Wallace on MSDNC. She used to be a fake Republican. Now she's a fake journalist. She is on with Democrat Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren. And they're talking about, well, gosh, if Donald Trump wins, you were on the January 6th committee as a member of Congress. And, you might be in danger of the Gestapo coming to get you, and you might have to flee the country. I hope you have your passport with you and it's current.
You and the other members of the January 6th Select Committee have been publicly targeted or threatened or warned that Trump is coming for you. I wonder if you've done anything to prepare for that, if you've retained counsel or updated your passport, or if you're doing anything differently.
No, I haven't.
No, but you've been targeted, and they've said it out loud. No, that's not true. That's not true. If that were true, they'd play the video of President Trump saying that and say, well, respond to that. Do you feel threatened? But it never happened. So Nicole Wallace, fatuous fraud that she is, fabricated that falsehood and just a lot of F's in that, and then put it to the Congresswoman. Have you updated your passport? Because you might have to flee the country like Tara Reid, who was sexually assaulted by Joe Biden when she worked for him on Capitol Hill. And when she went public, she was so threatened that she had to leave the country. Is that maybe Nicole Wallace should do a show on that, should do a whole hour on that. That's good stuff. But, update your passport because she might have to illegally flee the country when she's wanted on crimes. So the fascists are like criminals, just amazing stuff, isn't it? Now, Hillary Clinton went on Morning Joke, and she's talking about how Donald Trump is going to use the military, to grab people that are working in diners and mowing your giant lawn at one of your multi-million-dollar estates. She didn't say which multi-million-dollar estate.
Trump is implementing his policy with military troops in the street to, grab the woman who waits on you at the diner, pick up the guy who's, mowing the grass in the neighbor's yard, not because you have any information about them, but because of the way they look. That is unimaginable, but that is what is being promised.
That's what's being, now, again, show me the video of that being promised, of the troops and rounding up the waitress at the diner and the guy mowing your neighbor's lawn. What is it? Kamala keeps talking about her neighbor's lawns, too. What is it with these people in their neighbor's lawns? They've got a weird kind of pseudo-sexual obsession with their neighbor's lawns. Just amazing stuff. Now let's go to soundbite number 6, because Michael Cohen, remember Michael Cohen? He's a sleazy kind of, fake Politico lawyer. Stuff, and he was a friend of Trump's until he wasn't a friend of Trump's, and now he's a really anti-Trump person, right? And so MSNBC invites him on to say crazy stuff and to fan the flames of craziness. Now, he's a lawyer. Why President Trump ever used him for anything, I don't know, but he did because it's New York and it's kind of crazy. But here is Michael Cohen on MSDNC talking about how President Trump is going to use SEAL Team 6 to target his political enemies. Now, again, Hillary has the military rounding up your lawn care professional, and the waitress is the military, right? And they have uniforms and rifles and helmets and big vehicles. And Zoe Lofgren has to keep her passport updated because she's a member of Congress. She's going to be targeted by Donald Trump, might have to flee the country under cover of darkness like the Von Trapp family, hiking through the Alps to get wherever they're going. Isn't that amazing? And now Michael Cohen, this is on MSNBC, and nobody says, well, wait a minute, that's crazy.
What he says he intends to do. And when he turns around and says, Genta, like the head of this network or other people who are critics, that he intends to use SEAL Team 6 or the military within which to round up his critics or his opponents, he intends to do it. And I say that with firsthand experience.
Now, he was already president for 4 years. You do understand that, don't you? And one of your guys shot him through the ear a couple of months ago. Another one of your guys was grabbed after lurking in the bushes at a golf course in Florida with a rifle, planning on shooting him. You understand that. Another one of your guys was arrested, was it just last week in Idaho, who was plotting to murder President Trump. A Pakistani man moved into the country by Iran was arrested a few weeks ago and I believe is still sitting in jail unless Kamala bailed him out. He was here at the behest of the Ayatollahs in Tehran, and his mission was to assassinate President Trump. You do understand now that you guys, and I'm saying this by way of pointing out the fact that, you guys are rioting. You were rioting here in Washington on Inauguration Day when President Trump was inaugurated. I was here. You were burning that poor man's limousine, his business, an immigrant, a Muslim man with his private business, a limousine driver. You guys burned him out of house and home, and at least out of his business. And you're smashing storefronts and looting businesses all over the city. Our city was boarded up for months because of what you guys did. And then, of course, there's St. George of fentanyl as well. Michael Cohen, fear, live the fear.
He intends to use SEAL Team 6 or the military within which to round up his critics or his opponents.
Yeah, because, right, SEAL Team 6, yeah. Those would be illegal orders. SEAL Team 6 would be, members of SEAL Team 6 would be obligated to not follow illegal orders. But, you've never met anyone who served in the military. Now, morning joke this morning, Joe Scarborough, he's a former Republican. Now he's an MSNBC mental person. And I do believe that he is mentally ill. I think that this Trump derangement syndrome is not just political rhetoric. It is an authentic, identifiable mental malady, and there might be treatments for it. Might have to get out a blow dart gun and stick him in the neck to get their first round of crazy pills into him. But here's Joe Scarborough this morning saying that Trump and those terrible Republicans are preparing for civil war.
It was only a matter of time before somebody tried to kill him.
And then, guys, they tried to kill him. They tried to kill him. And it's because the Democratic Party, they can't do anything right.
The fact that J.D. Vance and Trump's family would out and out say what they said takes the threat of violence, takes the threat beyond where it was even leading up to January the 6th. This is an increasingly desperate person, an increasingly desperate family who's preparing for civil war.
J.D. Vance?
Just are.
They just are. Talking
about they're trying to kill him. Democrats are trying to kill him.
Well, he was shot once at Butler, Pennsylvania, at a rally. Maybe you saw that on the news, but he gets his news from MSNBC. They might not have covered that. Quite possible. And then a second gunman was in the tree line at President Trump's golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida, and he was arrested because of a conscientious citizen that was nearby and saw him fleeing the scene. By the way, have you noticed that conscientious citizen has not been anywhere, not been interviewed, not been found by the news media, not, hey, thank you, look at, you did the responsible citizen thing, you should get an award of some kind. No, nothing like that, because the fascist media, like Joe Scarborough, they should be wearing armbands. These people should be wearing armbands. And wait a minute, President Trump, he was in Butler, Pennsylvania, and he was minding his own business, speaking to a very large crowd of tens of thousands of people, J13, when a Democrat showed up.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
And that's when crooks opened fire on him. Now, why would anyone say that they're trying to kill President Trump.
Hold, when you're ready, on you. Ready, move, move.
Thomas Crooks shot him through the ear and missed blowing the back of his head off by this much. I'm holding my right index finger an inch and a half over my right thumb. And Thomas Crooks, now the Democrats try to say, oh, he's a Republican. And I'll take that argument and jam it where it belongs. As a matter of course, in any conversation on that subject, the Democrats, of course, were pushing Democrats in the state of Pennsylvania to register as Republicans, to vote in the Republican primaries in order to corrupt our democracy by pushing to elect in the primaries the least electable Republican to run for public office. It's a crooked Democrat sleazy scheme, and Thomas Crooks, who they still show his 8th grade school picture turned into a kind of gender-neutral, long-haired, bleach blonde mental case who gave money to Act Blue. He didn't have any money to give, but he gave what he had to Act Blue, which is a radical left-wing fundraising group. And July 13th, he shot President Trump through the ear and nearly assassinated him. And then a second man arrested at the Trump golf course in West Palm Beach. He also had a rifle, and he was planning on assassinating President Trump on the golf course, but the Secret Service saved him. And that is look, this is the Democrat Party today. And when you, the news media says, oh, yeah, he's creating a civil war. What in the... And NBC continues to pay him multiple seven-figure millions of dollars literally every year. And the Democrats, that includes the media, boy, oh boy, oh boy. You got the lunatic Crooks in Pennsylvania. You've got the lunatic at the golf club in Florida. And by the way, the news media just stopped talking about all that stuff in no time at all because it's not something they want to cover. They know it might not make the Democrat Party look good. So the news media stops talking about it because we don't really have a legitimate news media, quite sadly. And what we have is a front group for the Democrat Party. Remarkable stuff. And then, the Pakistani guy that the Iranians sent in, and he's, I guess, sitting in a jail cell unless Kamala Harris has bailed him out. Really remarkable things going on. But if J.D. Vance, and that was at Butler, by the way, which is, a setting where you might make reference to this. No, nobody's trying to kill him. And Vance took a shot at the Democrats. Democrats can't do anything right. That was a mock. But they're not good at being mocked. They're good at hurling insults and mocking and ridiculing anyone on the other side. But when you mock or ridicule them, they have yet another meltdown. The Democrat Party. And now, if you're watching MSNBC, the Republicans are preparing for a civil war. Yeah. If only the Republicans had been more prepared in 1861 when you started the first one.
The media has radicalized the people that are trying to kill my father. I've had to deal with that twice now in the last 2 months. I've had to have that conversation with my 5 young children twice in the last 2 months about someone trying to shoot their grandfather.
They have promised, Jonathan, that this next term, the Trump second term, they will have people there who will execute every one of Trump's orders and demands. And they have promised we will not miss next time. Right. We will find our targets and we will throw them in jail.
And that includes Morning Joe.
Their egos are, their mental illness is everywhere. Their sense of self-importance is extra. And all of that was fabricated, completely made up. Again, they would play the video if anybody had said anything like that, but they make it up because they're, Joe's a lion Sacagawea. Also, today, the 1-year anniversary of the massacre in Israel of 1,200 people and the hundreds taken hostage and the rapes, murders, and systematic torture. whereas in the United States, hate crimes against Jews are up 200% in 1 year, entirely because of the Democrat Party. But that said, I'll get to that in a bit. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Gene, calling from Youngstown, Ohio. Oh, Gene, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, good morning, Chris. Thanks for taking my call. I told you I'd get back to you. I went to the rally in Butler on Saturday. What I'm going to call is the finale to the J13 rally, the grand finale, the magnificent finale, because it was really something. The best rally I've ever been to. I mean, there was some glitches, I go into some things that I didn't like that happened, but from the beginning, but I got there about 11:15, me and my formerly active duty Marine son, and that was his second rally. I took him to his first. He recently moved back to Ohio from Montana, and we've been kind of getting to be real buddies, doing stuff together. Anyway, so we got there 11:15. The line to go in was already back to the road. It was like a line of people back to the road where we pulled in. There was plenty of parking.
Now, I should tell you, I only got about a minute more for you, so I just let you know. But go ahead.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about J.D. Vance, Elon Musk. Everybody went nuts. Trump just seemed to be very calm. I think he realized where he was at. But the thing that really blew my mind is he flew over. I'm going to guess and say about 3,000 to 5,000 feet. His plane flew over on the way in, and I didn't have my camera out to film. It came back, and I had my camera out this time. So, but the one thing they did to us that kind of freaked me out a little bit. This plane came over, and some things came shooting out of it, like I don't know. They're like paper things. And I said to the guy next to me, I said, geez, he wondered what that was too. And I said, could it be cyanide? Anyway, what it was is they had parachutists come in and fly or parachute right down onto the event.
They did. I didn't see that. I'm going to have to go find that. Wow, that's pretty cool.